What about they, them?
Feelings over facts, that's the way it's supposed to work.
Feelings, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you're all about
See
that.
how the
so.
world ends up when we start acting with our feelings over emotion.
Well,
Did you know,
that's
little
what-
fact for you, I may actually just cut this bit out, but do you know there's a massive link between transgender people and autistic people? A lot of transgender people at these like rallies are also autistic. Not all of them, but there's the highest concentration of autistic people at the moment, based on studies, is in transgender rallies. Because let me try and explain it to you. Autistic people, when you give them an idea,
we've gone downhill.
Let me talk before
No,
you start
no, go on.
laughing at me, right?
I'll listen to anyone.
Yeah.
Come on.
When you tell an autistic person something, I mean, most of us know someone who has autism or something. They tend to kind of think about things and tend to let things fester. And apparently, if you persuade an autistic kid that he or she is the opposite gender, they will embody that so much that if you try and tell them that's not the case, they outrage. And this is what we see at the rallies, right? There's people screaming and shouting, saying, "Yo, I am what I am. You can't tell me who I am or what I am." And apparently, there's a lot of autism and transgenderism. Apparently that's a close link that people have made now. I can't give you the numbers and I can't guarantee it, but I've heard a lot of stories on this now, and it's interesting. It just shows that there is
Links.
there is a certain I don't know what to call it.
The point with this though, right, and the reason why I wouldn't even comment back on that is just because of that last part that you said, and this is good for you both going forward. I think is if you can cite, maybe studies you've read, where that fact came from, learning to understand and learn and remember those things, you are automatically a lot more trustworthy. If you came at me now and said, I read this study from 2021 where they figured out that 55% of that transgender community, whatever you want to call it, was borderline autism. If that goes out as a short form thing, I am screwed. But
It's recording. I mean, it's up to us now.
I think that's where people trust you more, and it's the same with the fitness industry.
No, absolutely, and I get it because
if you do say, "Oh, I read it somewhere,"
well, I can look. I know that because I've done a degree,
just
so I know
conversation.
that when you do a degree and you write an essay and you do a presentation, if you haven't got a reference, you haven't cited it, it's void.
Yeah.
And I get it, but at the same time, it is my opinion, and
We'll
it's probably
comment on
true.
it, though, if you want.
If you want to, yeah. I mean, it's up to you. I don't want to put you in a position where you're talking about that, but assuming it's true, then let's assume it's partly true.
I just think that, not off the topic of like whether autism is in with it, or when you just look at it logically, if you're telling a child from the age of like 3 to 5 that they have the choice, just like you tell them that they believe that they are Spider-Man or they're going to grow up and fly around. Like I used to believe I was going to be able to fly when I was older. I can't wait. Do you know what I mean?
Fuck, I can't wait till I'm 17 when I can start flying.
Literally, yeah, genuinely. And like, if at that point you haven't developed enough to understand that those things aren't possible or what reality really is. Yeah. And I think if you tell someone that you literally can, and they are literally telling you now,
there's so many videos.
Mantras.
Again, I can't cite it, but you've seen the TikToks of like drag queens going to schools and and people showing kids how to twerk, and
it's normalizing it.
It's normalizing that. Yeah.
Personally, my opinion is that is wrong. I do believe that is wrong. I don't think that you should normalize it. I do not believe that it is normal.
Reprogramming children.
I really don't. I will stick by that because that is my opinion. I do think that I'm really digging myself a hole here now, but I do think that if the whole of us, every single one of us, was to turn like that, then the human race would just stop.
It's like if everyone was gay, there's no reproduction.
The start of the podcast,
and that's it. So you can't disagree with that part, really. I don't think, but that's my opinion anyway. So you can say that my opinion is wrong, but that is what I do believe.
Well, a lot of people will, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of them are so utterly convinced that the far left,
but they can disagree if they want to,
and they will, and they do.
And I respect the fact they disagree.
Yeah,
but don't. The biggest problem I have, if you really want to go there, is you're loving this, isn't you? The biggest problem I have is that people can't separate opinion and truth, and they get personally attacked when you disagree with their opinion because they hold it as part of them and who they are.
Yeah.
Whereas if you come to me with new information, which is what science does over the years, and you say to me, look at this study we've just done, and I'm like so fixated on my opinion, but no, that's got to be wrong because I've believed this for so long.
The far left
dogmatic.
The far left put feelings over facts, and they